bitch, you a gospelite, bitch.
Fuck you talking about?
If that nigga on wall, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. How I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade you line up. Young nigga named is Slayer. What you think, boy? You be done to try. Soft cold shit, we bout it. UPK, you solid. Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood, hood. More than you, bitch. Sharp on shit, I'm bout it. UPK too solid. Fuck nigga don't want war. It ain't enough clips in your army. All the bitches wanna take my piece. All the hoes wanna take my piece. All the nigga wanna take my piece. No, I can't let a dog take it from me. I can't let a dog take it from me. You a hoe study and you dummy. And these bitches really out this bitch walk around like they don't know nothing. And a lame nigga fall for them and get set up for the coins and get gunned down, man down. Should've took the time, get a damn no. But I see the solid and I show her. She could never get a piece home. You a dirt ass, rust ass neck bitch with a fake ass touring. In Tennessee while I'm touring. It's a Tennessee, but she luring. And a sucker duck bitch ass boy, fuck nigga over that bitch muggin'. I say, if that nigga on wall, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. Hawk, I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade you line up. Young nigga name is Slayer. What you think, boy? You be done to try. Soft cold shit, we bout it. UPK too solid. Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood, hood. More than you, bitch. You a lame nigga down to me. Eat candy, but I'm sucker free. You a little nigga, ain't none of me. Base up, boy, I fit a beat. Yeah, AR 2 to 3. Draco with a magazine. Yeah, the clip on a limousine. I shoot your ass in the spleen. Boy, I bust your ass in the temple. We debating by the temple. Tell the truth, boy, you's a victim. You squirm off like a lizard. Nigga walk down my road. Why does nigga come down my road? Boy, come down my road. Boy, I charge your asshole fee. I'm a real big priest, nigga. UPK play for keys, nigga. Commander General get a damn order, but ain't nothing to me to damn kill you. I stuck in his ass like a cat. All weapons, boys full of tech. Boy, like a close combat. Nigga got popped off for a neck. If that nigga on wall, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. Hawk, I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade you line up. Young nigga name is Slayer. What you think, boy? You be done to try. Soft cold shit, we bout it. UPK, you solid. Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood, hood. More than you, bitch.
Christ said 7 women gonna be on one nigga in the end time. Nigga, fuck wrong with you, boy. Stressed by that damn hoe ass bitch. Fake ass nigga too. Dumb ass motherfucker. Fuck you.
Backstage.
Fuck that fucking job, it ain't no more applying. Fuck that fucking job, boy, I'm sick and I'm tired. Fuck that fucking job, all that bitch and that crying. And I'm saying, fuck that fucking job, nigga. Fuck that fucking job, bitch. Fuck that fucking job, we gon' be rich tomorrow. Fuck that fucking job, it ain't no more applying. Fuck that fucking job, bitch, I done had enough. Fuck that fucking job, I'm watching everybody work. Fuck that fucking job, that little pay by the hour. Yeah, fuck that fucking job, my back hurting and I'm hungry. Yeah, fuck that fucking job, nigga, on soul. Yeah, caught the 22, get this money, go home. Yeah, all these people so, all these bitches, they messy. First day I came in, I bossed up on the bosses. And they promised nigga this, promised nigga that. Want my ass to work and bring that paper back. Sharp, where you been? I been taking the shit. Knowing damn well that I don't fucking sleep. Fuck that fucking job, we gon' be rich tomorrow. Fuck that fucking job, it ain't no more applying. Fuck that fucking job, boy, I'm sick and I'm tired. Fuck that fucking job, all that bitch and that crying. And I'm saying, fuck that fucking job, nigga. Fuck that fucking job, bitch. Fuck that fucking job, we gon' be rich tomorrow. Fuck that fucking job, it ain't no more applying. Fuck that fucking job, me and bro, we just posted. Look him in the eye, shake my head disappointed. We gotta visualize, summarize, execute. All these people drop like fly, why the fuck we still here? Man, fuck that fucking job, when I pull up, I hate it. Yeah, fuck that fucking job, that's on all of their faces. Fuck that fucking job, man, I'm already lit. Man, I hear one thing, boy, you bound to get hit. Man, the bills cross a nigga's brain. Damn, that's how you keep a nigga damn a slave. Damn, money supposed to be a tool. Damn, for a purpose, what's your purpose for? Fuck that fucking job, we gon' be rich tomorrow. Fuck that fucking job, it ain't no more applying. Fuck that fucking job, boy, I'm sick and I'm tired. Fuck that fucking job, all that bitch and that crying. And I'm saying, fuck that fucking job, nigga. Fuck that fucking job, bitch. Fuck that fucking job, we gon' be rich tomorrow. Fuck that fucking job, it ain't no more applying.
I'm sick of that shit. I know you sick of it too, man. Money supposed to be a tool, but what's your purpose though? They supposed to benefit a purpose. Shout out Boom Man now.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. Hey, Shalom. Hey, Shalom, Trooper. Is it anything to up?
Yeah, what's everything's to well, brother. One.
Hey. Con. Okay. We're going to clap it up. We're going to clap it up and get started. We had ISUPK started at 1 West 125th Street under Commanding General Yohana. I am Priest and Officer 50 Akashka in the Bahamas, ISUPK Bahamas. So we're going to get into a little bit of our current events, then we're going to get into our topic for the night. And we're going to talk about just following God, following the Most High. Follow the Most High, that's the first commandment, and have no other gods before him. And a lot of times, we don't really recognize that we are going astray. And I'm going to bring this out, Lord allows, as we talk tonight. Okay, and if you have any questions, bring your question. If you have any question, put it in the comment, and I'll be able to pick it up. If you, according to who you are, if you want to come on the screen, put it in the comment, and I might send you a link to come on. If you want to have a back and forth online, you could do that too. So if you want to do that, put your name out. Just put it in the comment. And I'll send you the link. You come up and we can talk about it. Okay, so some of the current things that's going on in our local Bahamas. And
Salaki, the other one.
They come with it. Juba.
Oh, Salaki, I did have a question, if I may, Baba Kusha.
Come with it.
Okay. I wanted to know, is birth control lawful?
I'm trying to remember the breakdown on that. We'll get, for what I remember from listening to the last breakdown, I think birth control is lawful. And another, I'm certain I heard this part, right? That there are cycles that women go through. And I mean, from biology, we know this. And there's only certain time in the month that a woman would actually be able to get pregnant. And those days, I think it's a few days, somewhere like 3 days or something like that. So that is definitely a form of birth control. But I'll double check to see if other birth control is lawful, and I think they are off the top, because again, UPK doesn't run away from no sorts of medicine. They tell you go to the doctor, let the doctor give you check you, make sure that you can take it. Yeah, so I know it's much better than getting impregnated and aborting the baby,
Okay.
Again, can. Hope I answer your question. We'll get a follow-up. I'll talk to Captain Nayatak. We'll get a follow-up, make sure we on the right path. So shalom for that. Water for your question. Okay, so just a little bit of what's going on right around my neck of the woods. And I do this part just to remind y'all brothers that we are definitely of the 12 tribe, and we're definitely the same. We have the stuff that's going on here it's not unique to the Bahamas. Anywhere that the 12 tribe find themselves, you'll find similar things happening. All right. And I'm not saying some of the things ain't happening in other nations. It may be similar too. But we're the ones who fall under the curse. And we can see that in Deuteronomy 28. So just a couple of things. And some of these are interesting and some less interesting. Okay. One of the things that we see here in the Bahamas, because of the much importation of items, we are now generating a lot of junkyards. In so much that I believe, I'm a firm believer that some of the countries are actually just dumping their stuff on us. Case in point, tires, used tires. We got tires which sell used tires. They're selling a used tire for 60 to 80 bucks. You can get a new tire for 100 and change, right? But these used tires would now come from, I guess, other countries with his own cars, and they send them. I think they're actually dumping them off to us. Because when we go down to the sanitation, we could see mountains of tires with it now on this island. So I think that's a form of getting rid of their trash and sending it to us, and they're making money in the process. Also, vehicles, and I get into my point. Vehicles, we've been getting a lot of vehicles over time, so now we have these areas that now generating a large number of derelict. I mean, it's places that they would keep vehicles and sell them for parts, sell parts of them, and just like mountains and lines and rows of vehicles now. And we had a bushfire. We had a fire in one of those areas. And if you know anything about fires, those type of fires are kind of difficult to extinguish because of the amount of accelerants, of course, the amount of fuel that's around in the cars and the tanks on the ground. And so we had the fire department was having some fight with by a junkyard. But that's I believe that's just I think the Bahamas has instituted a law where they would try and minimize any vehicles over 10 years to import into the country. They try to give you a more tougher time, because a lot of times you bring in a car, old cars, they break down right away and they end up on the trash heap. Yeah, so there's a fire going on. Okay, now another current event that's happening in my neck of the woods. And this one definitely shows the fact that we definitely still in our slavery. We got 3 individuals arrested for drugs on the island. This is one of the closest island to America in our chain, which will be Bimini. Um, you would believe at this point that people already get it in their heads that illegal activity is not going to profit you anything. Now they're getting involved, even if, let's just say, I know we don't talk about anything but breaking any laws, whether it be man-made or God law. Now, I don't understand why these people can't come to the understanding that it's just a sting operation. You know, they get set up. Why would you get involved? Drugs are bad for everybody. Nobody need to be dealing in drugs, using drugs. But even think about it. This day and time, you get all kind of law enforcement bringing drugs into the market, letting you buy drugs, locking you up, sending you to jail. Come on. This again, this just shows that we are trying our best to try and to find out to make some extra funds, because it's so difficult. Everybody basically, a lot of people just work from paycheck to paycheck, and they try to figure out how they're gonna get, as they say, over. They try to figure out how they can make some money. But again, this oppression is what we're living in. We've gotten so accustomed to this, we're trying to find our way out, you know. So that's another current event that's happening here in the Bahamas. Another current event that's going on in the capital, which is Nassau, right? And of course, I just make some notations and make some vague references to these things, because some of them are they just news items. All right. Now, a couple of serious crimes that is in the capital. Right. This is the capital. Police are investigating several serious crime matters. Believe it or not, a juvenile could be probably charged with murder. Well, with murder of a father of 5. That's listen, this oppression, this And what we don't understand is this: where we are, it's so difficult to really raise families the best. You know, we struggle to raise our families because we're chasing the dollar bill. All the systems are put in place for us not to be able to get ahead, and we're trying our best. So you have children growing up on their own, learning. Adult they get to be adults and they don't learn the simple things of how to be cordial, how to respect other people, and how not to be a thug. They grow up when they grow up watching the TV. And so another thing that's happening, that's another thing in the Bahamas, right? Now, police are on the scene of a body found hidden in the bushes. Again, and there was also a report of an attempted kidnapping. All these things going on, all this stuff happening right around us. And if you check the other Israelite areas and groups and tribes, I know things will be similar, right? So, okay, that's it for our local stuff. Just touch on, well, we right next door to Cuba. Cuba's having a hard time. I know Cuba had an embargo against it for many, many years, but it's gotten vicious right about now. It's really getting bad. I understand that Cuba, they actually was rationing the very light because they were unable to keep the power on because of the lack of fuel. This is getting to be, I mean, and then of course, we have the international news. The war, all the skirmish continues. What 3 or 4 different places are, uh, I don't know. They say in Rwanda, I think is one of the African countries, a genocide is going on, and they say even in Gaza, they call it a genocide too. It's just too much craziness going on around the world, and so we really thinking that it must be close for the end to come, because the scriptures does say rumors of war and wars. It talks about all this, and so we want to be ready. We want to make sure that we're ready because a lot of things are going on around the world. A lot of people are being affected, and of course, the strait that all the oil comes through down, but Iran is now kind of get a stranglehold on that. That's going to cause, and you may not have thought how things all around the world affects us, even in this little Bahamas. Things come from around the world would affect you, definitely. And right now, the fact that they can't move oil the way they want to, you'll be paying more money for everything. Slowly, unless it comes back, unless it settles itself out and come back to normal, give us a little while. We'll all be screaming and crying, and because it could get bad. Because in the Bahamas, we import so much things. All right, so so basically, that's what's going on around the neck of the wood. Troop, I don't know if you want to add anything that's happening around your area, which shows that you're a July trooper.
Okay.
Oh, right. Okay, so the Benjamites definitely we got it going on. We got a lot of challenges, and of course, Israel. A lot of time, Israel is its own voice enemy. You know, so we have
Uh,
Benjamites in, yeah, they sat in some position. Let me tell you a joke, trooper. Not really a joke, but um, as a farmer, I was I was in some store some years ago. I was in a store. I was negotiating the price. I was negotiating the price with an oppressor. A sister, a fellow Benjamin, came, and she Slovakia, Slovakia for that. A fellow Benjamin came, and I tried to negotiate the best price, and she came and she started trying to knock my price down as I was talking to the oppressor. I'm trying to get the best price for my produce that I'm going to bring to sell to their store. She's just a shelf packer. She's just somebody who packs the shelf. But she heard me negotiating with him, and she comes and she tried to get in there, and she started to tell me, "Oh, you have to sell for that amount." You know what I said to her? I said, "You know something?" I said, my son will probably marry your daughter, or my grandson might marry your granddaughter. Why are you trying to get in this? Are you trying to make some money? You know, I say that to say Sometimes we are our own worst enemies. Salakia. I
Oh,
think
okay.
yeah. Let me just send out this text. Somebody's trying to call me. Let me respond to them. Okay. Okay. Now, yeah, but this is how as a businessman, I've seen that in many areas. I've seen rolling up on a job. I'll tell you another joke. As a businessman, I'm a farmer. I also have a safety company. I walked into there was a large construction job starting on the island one time, and I went and I made an appointment to speak to the person who was in charge of the discipline that I offer services for with my company. And when I walked into the room, there was another. He was a one. I'm not sure. He either was a Benjamin or Judite, probably a Benjamin. Just I saw him, I know I was not getting that contract. If it was an oppressor, I probably would have get the contract. Okay, just I saw that was another Benjamin. Listen, I did not get that contract. I want you to know that. So that's a lot here, man.
Good night.
That's some of the things. That's they're still in our slavery, and people don't realize how oppression causes things to go sideways, you know. But let's get into that topic, and we're gonna talk about how we serve the Most High and follow Him and Him alone. And it's important that we recognize who we are. And see, this is the beginning of everything that we must understand. Who are you? Who am I? We are Yasharala. We are Israel. And because we are Israel, we need to look at everything from that view, that vantage point, that direction. If you don't look at it from there, you're not going to understand it. You are not the person, you're not the cousin grafted in. You're not the person who just come and stumble on this. No. You are the descendants of the forefathers what God made the agreement with to follow Him. That's what happened. And so now, because we are the descendants, that's us. So we need to, and I always say this, there are so many other nations around us, they were not given these laws. So when you see other people doing other stuff, that may be fine for them, but it's not fine for you. I know that's hard to understand. It's hard for you to believe. You want to do what everybody else does. And you know what? That's always been Israel's problem. We have always want to do what all the nations around us are doing. We want to do that. We want to do that. Yeah. You know, all the way back in the Book of Kings, they say, well, we want to give us a king. Everybody around us have kings, you know. We never had a king. We had the Most High giving us direction through the prophets. But they say, no, we want a king like everybody else. We always want to do what other people are doing. So first, we need to recognize who we are, where we come from, and what our responsibilities are. I want to go to a scripture, Jeremiah 10:2. We're just going to read the first part of it. Once you get it, Trooper, let me know.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the sights of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
Okay. Now, I want you to picture this. The Lord has set aside Israel to be holy, to be separate, to be chosen. He is saying, read that first part till you get to the first comma.
God. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Okay, so thus said the Lord. Okay, the Lord is talking directly to us. Learn not the way of the heathen. You are not, you should not be a heathen. You should be an Israelite. You should be here in the Israelite school of practical knowledge. That's where you should be. Now, if you were there acting like a heathen, you very well would be a heathen, but you need to find your way in here. But now, all of the other nations are heathens. You probably acting like a heathen or a Gentile or something like that. They probably told you was a Gentile and you settled on that too. Because guess what? They told me I was a Gentile and I settled on that too. And I guess before coming to understand the truth, I was a Gentile, because a Gentile is not a nationality. A Gentile is a behavior that you would do. You behave like a Gentile, then you're a Gentile. But right now, learn not the way of the heathen. Read on.
Son of Khan. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Yeah. So, you know, the heathens, see, these are warnings to us. And I understand, all right, I select this portion of the scripture. Now, yes, we have to understand the scriptures in the totality. And there's like the Captain Tazariak could always say, there's a river that flows through the Bible. So you need to figure out what that river is and how it flows. Because there is a river that do flow through the Bible. And that's where we get all of our understanding from. So now, the heathens, they look at the signs, this with the what it is, the zodiac. A lot of people actually run their life by that. This one of the things this is talking about. The zodiac, because we're now becoming more educated, the sun used to be a god to people in the past. I know you, if you don't know that, please be aware of that. The sun used to be a god to the people in the past. Let me blow your mind. The reason why you go to church on Sunday is because when that God in the past was worshipped, he was worshipped on Sunday. And the reason the day is named Sunday is because of the same worship as that same God. So when you go to church on the Sunday, you worship in the sun God, that Sunday God. I know you never thought about that, but the Lord say, we need to be following the Most High God. We got to have no other gods before him. And as simple as just going to church on the... Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to church. Listen, the thing is, the Sabbath day, is a day that is supposed to be remembered forever. If when you change that day to another day, that's when the problem come in. You see? That's when the problem come in. So, because people say, well, I go to church every day. Yeah, that's fine. But so you can go to church every day. But when you say now the Sabbath day, and you associate the Sunday with the Sabbath day, you've just started serving another God. And guess what? You start doing that so subtle, you mightn't even know. But the problem is, your grandparents were serving the wrong God. Your mommy was serving the wrong God, worshiping the wrong God. And so now you come right into it, ignorant, not knowing any better, busting in church Sunday without all your attire on, and the Lord say, Saturday is the Sabbath day. Now, the thing is, people will say, well, you know it's the same day. It's the same day. Because if the calendar say that Sunday is the first day of the week, well, even if the calendar say that, so why you didn't still stay on whatever the calendar say the 7th day of the week is, since you say, but as a discussion for that time, all right? So we're talking about how we're gonna follow the Most High God. We're not gonna allow any other gods to be worshipped. we're gonna follow the Most High God. We're not gonna follow any other gods. But it's so tricky that you may not even be aware because of the subtleness in society. Things are infiltrated in your mind, and you just don't see the seriousness of it. But the signs of heaven, even including the sun god, all of those things are things that we need to look out for. Continue reading, Trooper.
Okay. For the heathen are dismayed at them.
You see, the heathen, run their life. The heathen run their life, right? They say, "Oh, you're a Sagittarius and I'm a Gemini, or them two don't go together. So we need to, they run their life by these things seriously." And we have people here that believe. Let me see how best I could put this cross, Trooper. We have people here who believe in Obed, right? And I got a close family member that believe in Obed. And this, all of this voodoo and all this stuff, and they talk about it a lot. So one day I said, "Listen, that stuff, what you're talking about, that don't exist. All right?" I said, "And if you could find somebody who really could do that," I was getting sarcastic now, and I can try to be a little try to see if you could follow me on this. So I said, "Okay, so find somebody who could really do this and let them prove this to me." I say, "I tell you what, let them make my finger 2 inches longer. I tell you what, let them make the next part of me 2 inches longer if they if they could really do that." I said, "Guess what?" "Guess what? They can't do nothing. They can't do nothing." So that was a little sarcastic joke I put on them, I say, but I started with the finger and I said, no, make the next part 2 inches longer if they could do that. But I just try to show them things, that's ridiculous. And they believe and they look, that's again, they acting like heathens. They don't want to serve the Most High. They already looking around and seeing what other people doing. And I can sidetrack for another second. The people who say they could do these things, they could do all of these, whatever these funny things is, but there's be the brokest people in the neighborhood.
Okay.
I say if they could do that, they need to get the lotto number or something, So Salakia, sorry to make fun of them because they really believe they're serving a God. But we know that the Most High does not want us to serve any other gods. Don't want us to put any gods before Him. And so, as light as you believe these things may be, you have to be very careful, because ignorance, you could be led astray as you're ignorant. Yeah, you may not be held accountable until you come to the understanding, but you know how much time you're wasting not really coming to the understanding, because until you are faced with the truth, a lie is okay. But we come to bring you the truth today. I want you to read on the same Jeremiah 10, go down a little further in the 3rd verse.
Okay. For the customs of the people are vain.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Now this is going into an area that we necessarily can dive right down into today. But the customs of the people are vain. That just means, listen, all of these things what people get to do over time that become their custom is done to it. And right now, we coming up on Easter. And then of course all of the customs that seem to take over all of the holidays, the sale days, and if you think about it, all of these customs over time, you got New Year's Day, you have sales, right? You get things that encourage, that entice Israel to come out and get more involved. You have these things. Any holiday, you have these holiday sales that get you out your house, get you all hype up, get you involved in the system. All of these holidays were dedicated to some god in the past. And you know something? You never think about it seriously. You never think about it. But you need to. As these things go on, because we're going to go into some of the things about where the Easter celebration come from in a minute. So stay tuned. You got any question, put it in the chat. We're going to jump down into that in a second. Okay, so let me see. I think I just want you to read one more part on that. Well, I'll let you read to the last of that third verse before we jump on. Okay.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
Go on.
The hands of the workmen with the axe.
So even though this going on we'll go through this during the Christmas time, but I just wanted to touch on this first part of the scripture about this, the customs of the people are vain. The customs that we develop over the years, they become very vain. There's no substance in them. They're not pointing us towards the Most High. They're pointing us towards the commercialization of everything. They're pointing us toward the store owners, and we don't even see it. Now we're gonna be going into the Easter festival. We're gonna season. We're gonna be talking. They're gonna be telling you, Christ was risen on Easter. They're gonna tell you, and then they're gonna introduce the you can go into that in a minute, talking about the bunny rabbit and the eggs and all of this stuff. You're gonna talk about that. Okay, so you got that piece, Trooper, about the Easter?
Okay.
Okay. You want to put it on the screen, or you just want to just read it?
I can just read it out of one if that's Tawab, or I can put it on the screen, whichever you prefer.
Well, if you can't put it on the screen, we do have someone watching, so it'll be good if you could put it on the screen. You share your screen, I'll share that, and then you could go ahead and read. If you're having too much difficulty, then just go ahead and read it.
Yeah, I'm just, because I had it on a different tab, I'm just moving it over to another one so I can share it.
Okay.
Right. Should be Tawab now.
I don't see it yet.
Oh, there we go. Here we go.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Can you see my screen?
Okay, I see it. I'll bring it up.
Oh.
You're reading from you can't see it, right? I mean, you're reading from your computer anyway. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So Easter originated as a Christian holiday celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ, but the traditions and name are blended with pagan spring festivals. It is deeply tied to the Israelite Passover with the Council of Nicaea in AD 325, establishing the date on the first Sunday after the first full moon of the spring equinox.
Okay, so something for a second. Okay, keep it down. Scroll it back down before you go on. Okay, so Easter itself Now, you may not realize, but what has happened was as as Christ was off the scene, he went up to be with the Father, and the 11, which was the 12, Adam and Matthias, now they were here. They start to push this gospel, and so what happened is it came to a time where the the religious leaders and the pagans wanted to try and figure out how they was going to bring everything together, because what was happening is they didn't have the forces on both sides separated. So they wanted to bring these two together. And of course, definitely that's an error doing that. So, the teachings of Christ should stay separated. But what happened was it was brought together. And so what happened is we see them introducing the pagan and amalgamating it with all the church teaching. And this is what they had the Council of Nicene. Let me see if I could pull that down so I could see the date of the Nicene Council. Okay, so the Council of Nicaea was 325 AD. Now, these council was where the religious leaders and those in authority would get together and they would discuss different things. They would try and discuss it, and then they come out like a one front. They come in after they have the council. They say, okay, this is what we believe, and that's what these councils was all about. They try so now what they did in this case, all right, this is where it originated, and this is where it was all put together. All right, go ahead, continue read.
Khan, from pagan roots and traditions.
Resurrection, eh? Where was it?
Resurrection commemorates Jesus rising from the dead 3 days after his crucifixion, symbolizing the victory of life over death.
Okay, now that's one. Read. What to do is continue reading until you get right past the first line after pagan roots and traditions, and then you get down fertilities. Yeah.
The Passover connection. The Last Supper was a Passover meal, making Easter a spiritual fulfillment of the Passover story in many Christian traditions. Pagan roots and traditions. The name origin likely derived from Eostre or Ostara, the Anglo-Saxon goddess of spring and fertility.
Now, listen, when you don't think about this, you're going to be stepping into the church not even understanding what's happening. Okay, now, you know what? Then before I talk about that, go straight down to the end of the pagan roots and tradition, and then I'll speak on that. The symbols of the rebirth.
What kind? You want me to read down?
Read from the symbol of rebirth and the festivals. Read both of them because I want to put all them together.
Okay. Eggs and hares, bunnies, were ancient symbols of fertility and new life, later adopted into the celebration of the resurrection. Germanic and Saxon pagans celebrated the vernal equinox, a time of renewal which merged with the Christian celebration of Christ's resurrection.
Okay, I wanted him to read all those because this is what happened. They put all of these things together to appease the people who was around, because they had some people celebrating Astartes, the god of fertility. They had people looking at, then they had the Christians, so they try to bring everybody together. And so what happens is you actually wipe out Christianity, because now you are adding things in from other gods. And this is what happened. This thing about the bunny laying eggs, right? And why that's been introduced is because this fertility. The bunny is synonymous with the bunny's laying a lot of eggs. That's synonymous with the. It said here the is likely derived from Astartes or Astaric Ostara. So the Anglo-Saxon goddess of spring and fertility. So these goddess would, that's where you have, because you wonder why would they show a bunny laying eggs? That's where it comes from. You probably never even thought about it. You never thought about Easter eggs. What does the bunny have to do with Easter eggs? But the bunny is one that is prolific in laying, right? And so even though they have live birds, right? Not eggs. Okay. Bunnies don't even lay eggs. They have, when bunnies have babies, they live birth. So why do they use bunnies? Because why they use eggs with bunnies? Because they want to show you the prolific thing. And so now you just going in the church having Easter egg hunt, never realizing that there was a festival prior to this same council. What they were doing, that is the actual festival that you're doing now. That's what you're doing. You're doing that festival, which was done so long ago, because they amalgamated it with Christianity and say, okay, we'll just say Jesus was resurrected, but we'll say that the bunny's laying egg, and we put them together. That's it. We're doing a festival here, we're doing a festival there. We bring them together. All right. Jesus resurrected, and we do the festival. So everybody's happy. Y'all come and y'all can do your festival, do your bunny laying egg, and do your whatever your pagan worship and whatever you're going to be chanting. Do that, no problem. And we'll just say, yep, Christ was resurrected on the third day. And in between that, you have an Easter egg hunt. And so that's what's going on. All right. So those things are where they bring us together. But see, we're not supposed to be serving any other God. And let me tell you, you're not going to develop any kind of power as long as you never come to that understanding. You will serve another God unknowingly. You will serve another God unbeknown to yourself. The things you do, you be in line with another God, but they're not in line with the God you want to serve. But you will be saying, I'm serving the Most High God. You will be saying that, but yet your actions will be doing something different. Who you think you'll be serving? You'll be serving a different God. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but I see someone in the chat. But again, this is definitely a serious thing. You have to be able to understand how come the Israelites have a special mandate to do what they do. It's a special mandate. The Israelites bust. Let's see if we have any questions in the comment. No questions in the comment. Okay. Let me see if we can read further. Let's see. Read on.
Easter eggs, part of common traditions, represent the empty tomb or resurrection, or traditionally a symbol of fertility and new life.
Hold on right there. Right? Let's see. Now, I mean, even though you could, can you fathom your mind around what the egg have to do with the empty tomb? Okay, so what they're trying to do is mix these things together to cause you to be, I don't know, to be stupid. That's all I can believe. Cause you to be stupid. Slovakia. Just Jupiter, hold on for me a minute. Slovakia. Okay, Slovakia for that. All right, so this thing is so serious that time after time we get so immersed into these different things that we don't see. Everybody is all happy. The children are finding eggs, and it's a good time in your mind. But what has happened is you are now actually servants of making some other god serving their purpose. Was that it, Trooper? Or it's more than that? Read some more.
Anwakan. The Easter Bunny originated from the hair-related myths of the goddess Aostra.
Okay. Yeah, so you see, this is the Easter Bunny. Now, this is what we're saying. This is a goddess. Okay. This goddess, and this is what I'm saying. Every celebration holiday it derives from some god or goddess in the past. And what happened is today you've not been introduced to that. So what you've been doing, you've been actually following the same pattern when they were worshiping these gods, and there was probably even a break. Because what happens is during the Nicene Council, when they say, okay, we'll merge these together, you will continue worshiping your God on the day. We'll just say that's the same day when Christ was resurrected. And so we just continue on. And so you become a part of this whole worship cycle and not even knowing, ignorantly. But you'll be saying, oh, you're worshiping the Most High. But if the Most High ain't have nothing to do with that day, who you think you're worshiping? You worshiping who it was set up to worship. Salakia. Okay, read on.
Anwakan. White lilies symbolize purity and resurrection.
Yeah, all of these things they try to show you. They try to mesmerize you. They try to get your mind and thinking in a specific way to brainwash you to think, or not to even think about it. Just go with the fun. Just go with the fun. Just fill up the church with lilies, right? Fill it up with lilies and have the Easter egg hunt and have the children go to the play. It's all that, and you don't know that you're actually offending. You're offending the Most High God by doing that. Is there any more on that?
The one.
Okay. All right. Let's do So basically, we want to make sure that we are not getting caught up into the hysteria around us. You shouldn't get caught up into sale events because if you have, and I'm talking, they do these things. They try to get you all frantic. They try to get you all excited. They try to get you all into the things that's happening around the different times of the year. They try to get you to be off your even keel, because what happens is when they say, "Oh, this is it's Easter sale. We got a blowout sale, 25%." So you run into the store, and then we got the church. You got to buy something new to go to church, and then we got the Easter egg hunt. You got all these things going on, and guess what? Where's the Most High in that? Nowhere. The Most High is nowhere in all that activity what you have going on. Because right then, that's not what he wants. He wants you to gather yourself together. O nation not desired. But what you doing? You playing with the goddesses of the past, which are no gods and no goddesses. And so all you're doing is wasting your time and going more astray. And guess what? You building up a good, strong defense against the Most High God himself. Do you realize that you're actually fighting against God? You actually and the other thing is you have a good defense, because when the Israelites come and they say, "Listen, man, you celebrating, you going to church on Sunday." The Lord say, "Go. The Sabbath is the seventh day, which is Saturday." You will fight against that because that's what you learn where you are. Even the I think it was Gabanian or somebody say, "Listen, Don't fight. Don't leave them alone. Because if you fight against them, you could find yourself actually fighting against God. And so this is what happens. People actually fight against God. They do these things so they think it's so subtle. They serve other gods. They worship other gods. They do these things and then they just feel like it's nothing to it. They don't realize the ramification, how it offends God to do these things. As simple as that. The Lord said, learn not the ways of the heathen. And since we have come out of I would say, I guess out of all the way back in 50 AD, and even prior to that, whatever studies I've done, I've always found out that whenever whenever you see in the scripture Israel around any other nationality, we seem to be we kind of lean towards them. We kind of lean towards them, and so we seem to be leaning towards anybody we around. But the Lord, the Most High, does not want that. And then this day and time, I don't know if you're watching the things that's going on around the world, but it's getting exciting. I am saying I am waiting until they drop that first thing, what is called the thing what they call the mushroom cloud. Yeah, I'm waiting to see that one fall, and then I know it's on. I
Yeah.
know it's on. So, I want to be careful what you say on the live because these guys be censoring your live. But I've also heard guess as we get ready to close out here, I've heard something that was very, very interesting. I've heard the president of the USSR, which is the Soviet Union, he was saying if any nukes fly, he's responding. So it sounds like he's saying, you shoot one, I shoot one. So that caused everybody else to back up. And um, I said something to someone today. General Mahyman said something, and I'll use a derivative of what he said. Because I couldn't remember verbatim, but he said when two officers responded on the scene, and one of the officers shot an unarmed person. He said, you know what should have happened? The other officer should have shoot him to avoid that situation happening. And I said that to say, I mean, there's a whole long story behind that, so I'm just kind of paraphrasing what he said. But if you think about it, and I think he also said this too, something similar. When the conflict in the Middle East started, it could have been stopped because if the leader of the free world, Agent Orange, if he had talked to those other people and when they were saying we're going to attack, all he had to say, if you all attack them, I can attack you. That's all he had to say. And you know what? There was going to be no war. And so now we find ourselves in the middle of a serious this thing affects what's going on actually affects the whole world very slowly. But listen, we're going to gather ourselves together. We're going to strengthen the brotherhood. We're not going to worry about these things that happen to be on our control. But we're going to look. I can keep my strong near to me. So when the time comes and I see that mushroom, what I can do, I can have me one. Because guess what? I'm gonna do with it. But I know if that happens, the end right around the corner. I know that much. If that happens, it got to be around the corner. So shalom. Chuba, anything you want to add or see?
The only thing I really heard here recently was Trump was talking, saying how well we were doing, and then for the first time in history, a FN-35 fighter jet got shot out of the sky about 10 minutes after he finished this whole spiel about how great things are going. So that was it.
You can't. Chuba, what I think is gonna happen after a while. bringing here the real information of what really happened, how much Americans and equipment was really damaged in that. Because of course they're not going to really let that information out at this point. But the superior fighter jet got shot out of the sky.
Straight out the sky.
Right out of the sky. Yeah, Hey, kind of. And with that, I'll pass the class over to Trooper Magawa. Sit down.
These are the ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, a brother or sister has if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There are another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3, 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations. We have the 57th Passover coming up on the 4th of April in Houston, Texas. Make your way there if possible. It's really not optional. And with that, men of Israel, Imajim. We will now render a salute to the brothers, men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatham, Yazbatah, Sar, meaning turn to face the sisters. We will now render a salute to the sisters, men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alatham
Shai.
Yazbatah. And with that, class is dismissed. Shalom.
Hey, Tawada Trooper.
Ayanda Bardawan.
And Shalom.
Shalom.